Hello everyone, welcome to Game Dames Vidcast. I'm your host Cindy, and today we had to be a little creative and I'm going to record the vidcast as I'm playing a game, and it is Final Fantasy XIV, as you can see. I made a new character this week for different reasons, and I've had a thought occur to me about emergent gameplay. And this is actually being taken from The Sims 3. Before I get into that, I'd like to say thank you to Sambo from the Let's Play series and Blimey from Blimey Games. I've taken inspiration from them as they record their videos when they play their games. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not too sure. Hopefully it goes pretty well. So this thought occurred to me as I was making this character that over the years I've kind of lost how I was playing MMOs, and the way that I think the more experience we get when we play these games, we lose a certain sense of innocence, and we kind of lose what was so awe-inspiring about the game in the first place. And this new character I created in kind of I wanted to get away from the other server that I was on and just try something really different. And I rolled on the role-playing server, and I really want to just be in character all the time. And I'm rolling around a lot, but and one of the inspiration I've taken, oddly enough, was from The Sims 3, as I was saying. And for those of you not familiar with The Sims 3, what you do is you create a family, or you can just create one sim, and you place them in a house and you basically watch what happens. Sometimes you can create your own stories, or you can in The Sims 3 you have different wishes, and there are different goals that your sim would like to achieve. So if you select the right actions and all that, and you go through their lives and trying to fulfill those wishes, then it's not really, it's directed gameplay. That's what it is, and that kind of helps you to get started. But I found that for a really interesting experience, you kind of just let your sim, oh, I'm going the wrong way, you just kind of let your sim do whatever they want, and sometimes they do things that really surprise you and that are sometimes tragic or really funny. For example, if you listen to the last Game Dames podcast where I was guest hosting with Leela, I was talking about how I forgot to feed one of my Sims and they died from hunger. So some things like that can happen. Also, if you play in the original worlds from EA, like in Sunset Valley, you can have things like a meteor hitting your Sim, just out of nowhere. And it's really, from a roll dice, it can happen anytime and anywhere. And that creates really interesting scenarios, I find. And how does that relate to MMOs? Well, I remember when I was starting to play Final Fantasy XI, which was one of my early MMO experiences. And I just made a character, went into the game, and didn't really know what to expect. And part of that is actually what made the game so special and so interesting. And I think if you think of your first MMO and how you experienced that, you might have the same type of experience where everything was really new. I'm still going to die. Everything was really new, and you didn't know what was going on, but everything seemed so magical. And then you would meet other people and just, talk to them in the chat and, befriend them. And, your gameplay would be based on those interactions and not so much on which quest do I have to do, what mission do I have to go. And the goals seem to be a lot more freeform than they are now. I mean, now that we've played these games so much, we know exactly what to expect. We know exactly what we're supposed to do. And, we just kind of push ourselves to the next level, to the next portion of the game. And I think we kind of forget to, why are we even playing the game? Is it to achieve the last dungeon to, get that special gear, and why. So I think I was starting to get a little bummed out with all the leveling in Final Fantasy XIV. Now, the direction of the game right now is still pretty, is not really there yet. There's still a lot of content missing, and so you can't just go from quest to quest to quest like in other MMOs. So it kind of pushes you to be a little bit more creative, and I found that I had kind of lost that. So that's what's brought me here on Besaid, and just trying to just play my character and not worry too much about what the next step is. I'm doing Leave Quest right now, so it's kind of going against that whole concept a bit because it is directed gameplay and not emergent. But I've decided on a few rules. With this character, I am not actually going to actively look for a guild, for example. And I'm not going to actively look for a group to play with. Like usually I would go to forums and I would, hook up with people that way. Now I'm actually going to reserve that for gameplay, and I'm going to try to even keep it in character as much as possible. So I'll try to talk to people like my character would, not like I would. So that should really give an interesting twist, and it's actually playing that way and just playing in that mindset has really pushed me to not pushed me, but inspired me, motivated me to play this character a lot more. And I'm actually excited to be in the world again. And now that I'm not pushing myself so much to be level 40 conjurer or something, and get the new storyline mission and things like that, just so I could catch up to other people or whatever. I find that I'm actually really enjoying myself, and I want to spend time in the game more than I did before. So I'm not saying that that's the perfect answer for every game, but to me so far it's been a lot more fun. So we'll see how it goes. I hope to make friends pretty quick here. I mean, I'm in the forest by myself now, but I'm pretty sure it won't stay that way for long. I did make some really good friends on the other server, and I haven't completely abandoned that character either. I'm sure I'll be back there. But for now, this is kind of a nice change of pace. I'm also playing a different class right now. It's not magic class like I'm used to. This is the Pugilist, and I'm just beating things up, and it's kind of awesome actually. Oh, I did level my conjure a little bit just so I could get the cure spell like that. Yeah, yay. So I'm not so weak. Boom. So basically that's what I want to talk about is instead of directing everything that your character does all the time in the game, I think it'd be interesting to just kind of live in the moment and see what happens. And also in The Sims 3 itself, I've started a story called Snowflakes, and there's someone on the official EA forums created a set of rules. And actually, what are those rules right now? Should pull it up. So someone on the official forums created a set of rules that on the official EA forums that's really interesting. It's called 6 Degrees of Separation, and basically it's more of a challenge or a series than a legacy or a challenge. You choose a founder. It can be absolutely anyone, and the trick is that the next person you make is not a relative. Like in legacies you usually play one family, you have a founder, and then the next generation is always their child, one of their children, and you have to keep the same last name. In this one, the next generation or the next sim you play after you're done with the story is someone that's completely unrelated. You can only have a relative or a child once. After that, it can be a relative, but it can't be a child. So an aunt, an uncle, whatever. It can be the pizza guy, it could be a teacher, it can be anybody that's featured at least once in your ongoing story. So I thought that was really, really interesting. So that's what I'm doing right now. And the way that I'm writing the stories, I'm just playing the game. the Sims game, and letting my character have free will except for the wishes, and then see what happens. And so far, I've bought a chess table from this really spooky gothic place, and a fire mysteriously started in the living room, and so I'm spinning it so that it's because of the spooky chess table. So anyway, it's really interesting how role play has a tie in emergent gameplay. I think role playing is a type of emergence, and that we get into this game, we are given a set of things to use. Like, for example, we're given emotes to play with, and then we take these characters and these emotes and these actions, and we create our own content with it. And see, someone just consoled me because I was embarrassed. Isn't that just awesome? So I'm just gonna wave at them. And that's what happened when you're doing emergent gameplay right there. That's, and that's why I rolled on the role-playing server, because I know that people would not everybody. It's not because you're on a role-playing server that everyone there is going to react well to what you're doing. Some people will not like role players and either ask you to leave, or they will leave themselves when you're talking to each other. But most of the time on a role-playing server, you will be very well received. See, Isa just waved back at me. So that's really, really cool. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun on this server. Not that I wasn't having any fun on the other server. I was starting to feel that it wasn't the right place for me, and the right place for what I wanted to experience in this game in particular. Final Fantasy XIV has the potential to be a very strong, role-playing game, in the sense that you're playing your own character and making their own stories. So I hope to get back into that a lot more. I was writing a comic for my other character before, and I kind of burned myself out and let that go. I'm not gonna make another comic for this one, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll write down her stories somewhere. Anyway, that's basically what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Is just this idea of just hopping into a game and just experiencing the world around you as it happens. As when you meet an NPC as well, is just take the time to see what they have to say. And see, she is Gate Warden Menine, and she has a few things to say. Oh, here you can register your favorite location. And she explains what that's about. But I like in this game how whenever you talk to an NPC, they, most of the time, if not all the time, always have a little blurb. They always have something to say to you. I know there's other MMOs out there, other games where you talk to NPCs, or you can't even talk to some of them, but you talk to them and they say hi, and that's it. But these guys, they always have some sort of story or some advice to give you or something. So I always think that was really cool and interesting. And that's, I think, is going to be it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I wasn't rambling aimlessly too much and you got bored. But we will see you next time on Game Dames with more of a regular review about a game. Okay, bye bye.